Welcome to BigDaddie Sports. I'm your host, Big Daddy.
LB Jenkins.
And we're back with you once again talking about the hot topics. Let's jump right in.
Wait. Yes, I am wearing a Julio Jones jersey again. I'm wearing this to honor his drop pass in Monday's night game. Touchdown pass, that is. Guess who's leading the league in drops? Julio Jones. Every time Julio Jones messes up, before he gets injured in week 6 for doing too much, as I predicted, I will wear a jersey. You'll be seeing a lot of this jersey.
Everybody drops balls. Jerry Rice dropped balls. The boy dropped one touchdown pass. And you know what? I think you got a man crush on Julio. That's your problem.
No.
Let's get into the show. Concerns. What are your concerns coming out of week 1? Are you concerned about Peyton Manning? Is he Peyton Manning from week 1 or is he Peyton Manning from week 2, excuse me.
I'm worried because Peyton Manning week 1 did his thing. Good defense. Atlanta won. Not to talk about their secondary and everything. My problem with Peyton Manning was his throwing, though. It seemed like his throwing was off. His motion was off. The reason why he was throwing picks because he didn't have the strength. His formula for throwing, his motion for throwing was off, and that's why he's throwing picks. Not the Peyton Manning we normally see. I am worried, especially going into week 3, if that's going to carry over in the rest of the season.
Look, I'm not worried. A couple things here. One, the old man can't come out throwing deep balls. That's just a fact. He wasn't ready. I know you said, well, he warms up. Yeah, they warm up before the game, and then he takes like 15 to 20 minutes off. He's not at the point in his career now where he can just come out slinging it. 2, some of that was just straight timing. Where, yeah, I give the defense credit, but he didn't see what the coverage was, and they switched. But the timing was off. Receivers were getting bumped. Brandon Stokely on the 3rd pick, he was a little late on that ball. Brandon ran a little outside. DB comes underneath. It's a pick. But did you see Peyton Manning in the second half?
Yeah.
Did you see him driving downfield? And the key to this whole thing is something Peyton ain't had since Edgerrin James. Get a ball to McGahee. Do you realize that Willis McGahee is tied for the lead in career 100-yard games with 31? People don't realize how good Willis has been in his time. Mind you, he basically took 3 years off in Baltimore backing up Ray Rice. He didn't play his rookie year because he was hurt. So he's done this in kind of a small sample. Willis is a solid bat, and when they ran the ball in Atlanta didn't want nothing. They didn't have an answer for that in that offensive line. So I don't think they have to lean on his arm. I think they'll figure that out as the season goes on. Peyton Manning will be fine. Next up,
the season goes on.
Should the Bears be concerned about that offensive line?
Yes. Cutler looks like Mike Marks is still the offensive coordinator.
But that's Cutler's fault. I'm sorry, I'm gonna cut right to it. This ain't the offensive line. Did Webb give up? First of all, Clay Matthews is a pretty good player. So to give up a couple sacks to Clay Matthews, it's not the end of the world.
This is a couple sacks. Man's been sacked 9 times in 2 games. At this record, you're gonna be sacked 72 times for the year.
See, numbers do lie. He got sacked 7 times in the last game because they had no answer for Clay Matthews in that defense. Now, mind you, all those sacks weren't on Webb. What happened when they moved Clay Matthews inside and he's coming up the A-gap? Is that on Webb too? Okay. No. That's on Cutler holding the ball too daggone long.
Okay. You got Jared Allen in Minnesota twice. You have another bout with Clay Matthews coming up. You're going to face some defenders who going to penetrate that.
Look, I'm sorry. A lot of this is on Cutler, and the reason why I think Cutler's a diva is because he don't own up to his stuff. He didn't adjust to the fact that they were playing cover 2. Look, they played cover 2, they doubled your man. Stop holding the ball, waiting for him to be double coverage. Go underneath. There was a lot of times where the underneath swing pass or something was there and he wouldn't take it. In the second half, they came out and they started taking it, and when he started taking it, is when Matt Forte got hurt, and then that was out the window because Michael Bush is not as effective as a receiver out the backfield. A lot of this is on Cutler, and I'm sorry. It says a whole lot, not that Webb didn't react when Cutler pushed him, but he laughed at him. It's like he doesn't even take this man seriously. This man is cussing you out and pushing you, and Webb looks at him like he's a joke. That tells me a lot about how they feel about Jay. And if I'm Jay, I'm worried about my pass protection. Because if you're going to show up your offensive line on national TV, they might say Ole a couple times next week. I'm just saying. Next up, how concerned should the Skins be that they lost Brian Orakpo and Adam Carricker? They're 2 best pass rushers.
2 best pass rushers. Carricker got 1 tackle. Brian Orakpo, of course, 5 tackles, 1 sack in 2 games. Brian is their sack name. Orakpo means sack, But my thing is, Orakpo especially, but one thing, character makes up space. You block character, a rack post getting in. You block up a rack post, the character's getting in. You're gonna see it. So losing both of them is definitely detrimental to the team on defense.
That team, they should have won Sunday and been 2-0. Josh Morgan brain farted and cost him the game. Look, you can't count on Billy Cundiff to kick a 62-yarder when he can't kick 31 in the playoffs, but I'm going to leave that alone. I'm just saying. But it comes down to, defensively, that team is solid. And you can't lose basically your best players and another one of your better players, and they have nothing behind them to replace it. To me, this is bigger than Baltimore losing Suggs because it's two guys. It's basically the two guys Baltimore lost. It's their version of Suggs and their version of Jared Johnson. And they don't have the players behind them. I'm not saying the skin season is over because that would be too much. But they're going to struggle on defense now. They are going to struggle, especially against the run. I feel bad for London Fletcher. London Fletcher is the most underrated middle linebacker we've seen in a long time. That guy can ball. But now, you can kind of scheme to get him out the way. It could be a long season for that Redskins defense. Next up, we're going with which one is real. We've seen some good and some bad from some teams, and it's up to us to determine which one is the real one. So let's jump it out. Is the Jets, are they real from week 1, or is the week 2 Jets the real Jets?
We got kind of in the middle right now. You got a weak opponent. So you're going to have a strong
side. Yo, don't do the politician in the middle. Week 1 or week 2?
Middle. Against weak opponents, they're going to have strong games. You're going to see them beat up Buffalo. But you get a strong defense like Pittsburgh, you're going to have an off game. Right now, you're looking at loss against the Patriots twice. Looking at losing against San Francisco, losing against Houston, and maybe Seattle.
I didn't ask you for their schedule.
Look,
are they week 1 or week 2?
I'm losing 5 or 6 games this season. Maybe a wild card. I'm going to give you the whole season projections, all right? Projections, all right?
He projected that 47% of America don't matter. I'm just saying,
Wow.
I'm saying they're more of week 2. Look, Sanchez is who we thought he is. And the bottom line is, when he plays against a defense that's not ranked in the bottom half of the National Football League, he's going to struggle. Your boy Sean Green, as he always does, is nicked up already. Stephen Hill came out that first week, and now there's film on him. You didn't see him last week. I just don't know what this team is going to do offensively. They'll be clamoring for your boy in a little bit. But don't start.
Week 6.
Don't start.
Just that. He'll be starting.
But I just think they're more week 2. Week 1 was the aberration for the Jets. Sanchez is not going to do that every week. He's just not. And so, no. Week 2. I'm definitive with mine. Cowboys, are they week 1, who beat the defending world champions at home? Or are they week 2, who went to Seattle and got shellacked?
Week 2 and going down. We got administration problems. Jerry Jones not agreeing with the coaching decisions. You got Tony Romo after that defeat last week. Self-esteem just gonna go down. He ain't gonna go pride in there. But look, I'm sorry. This team is diminishing. I've been saying last season. I've been saying it for a couple years now. Blow up the team. Tony Romo era gone. Jason Garrett era gone. Jerry Jones talking about he might go down and coach. Don't embarrass yourself like that. All right.
Look,
because sometimes the GM you having a bad call, so don't embarrass yourself like that.
Seattle's a good team. Can we start with that?
I agree.
Seattle's a good team. Can we also start with Seattle is a very difficult place to play. The 12th man is real. That defense up there is good.
Russell Wilson didn't pick Seattle to win this game, okay? Pete Carroll did not pick Seattle to win this game. Point is,
but Marshawn Lynch did. And Marshawn Lynch back. Look, Marshawn Lynch will do that against a lot of defenses. They call it Beast Bowl for a reason. Keep feeding that man Skittles. That man is a legit beast in this league. It's going to happen to some teams. They went on the road after coming off the ecstasy of beating the Giants and they knew they really needed to. They kind of took Seattle for granted. I think they're more week 1. I think that defense, if you look at what happened, they got ran on, but Russell Wilson didn't throw the ball all over the field on Dallas. The secondary is still coming together. I think they'll figure it out. They did not feature DeMarco Murray this week because they got down so early. If you stick with the running game and keep it more balanced, Dallas will be fine. They're week 1. They're not so much week 2.
New York's running game All right, y'all beat New York. No, run game. What you gonna do against LaShawn McCoy against the Eagles twice this year? What you gonna do against the Redskins when RG3 decides to rush on you as well? Like, what are you gonna do against the run game when you face a team
I hear you, but understand this. Shady, I like Shady McCoy, but Shady McCoy is not the physical runner that Beast Mode is. He's just not. He ain't Marshawn Lynch. Now, that being said, Shady gashed him last year, but I don't.
Oh, Michael Vick can run on you too.
Look,
oh, then you got receivers that we're gonna run the wildcat at him. What you going? So basically, you're saying they can't defend the run. So therefore,
that ain't what I said. I said they struggle. A lot of people. Marshawn Lynch ran for 100 yards on San Fran last year. San Fran don't give up 100 yards to nobody. Marshawn Lynch is a talented back. I'm not gonna overreact to week 2 loss in Seattle. If this was at home, I might feel a little different. But they were in Seattle. Week 3, no, excuse me. Week 1, is it the Dolphins or week 2 Dolphins? Which one is it?
Tannehill will be benched. Look, you went against the Oakland Raiders, who I thought was going to progress as the season goes on.
That was your division pick. How that's looking?
It's looking bleak. I'll admit that. It's looking very bleak. No, they're not. No. Week 1, same thing. Not
you know what this comes down to?
Reggie Bush get padding his stats.
No, that's what this comes down to. Can Reggie run like he ran in week 2 consistently? I honestly think with that offensive line, he might be able to. Tannehill did enough in week 2 against the Raiders. And if he can continue to do enough, I'm not saying they're going to win a lot of games. I'm just saying
5 wins. I got him winning 5.
You got him winning 5? Good God.
5.
I give him 6 and 10.
5.
6 and 10.
That 5? That was possible. That's like space. Strong possible. Got a possible 5.
No, but I honestly do think though that Reggie will have a big year. I'm at least 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns.
It's great. Nobody else gonna be produced, so that's great.
They won't bench Tannehill. It's not worth it to bench Tannehill.
Don't bench him. Put him in wide receiver. That's where he's born. You see, that's where you started.
All right, last week we couldn't get the show film, so you couldn't see the picks, but I won the picks last week. He won the first week, barely. So it's 1-1 so far.
I didn't get enough sleep last week,
Excuses.
That's my bad.
Here we go. Giants at Carolina.
Carolina, I like what I saw from last week. Saw progression. Giants, even though Eli did. Eli came back, got a great win against Tampa Bay. I'm still going with North Carolina.
I'm going with Carolina too, and I'll tell you why. One, Hakeem Nicks is not going to play. Bradshaw is not going to play. The Giants kind of got beat up a little bit on Sunday to come back on that short week on Thursday and have to travel. You're asking a lot. And I think Cam and the Carolina Panthers are going to use this game on national TV to say, hey, we're legit. And so I'm looking for Cam and Steve Smith and company, D'Angelo Williams, to show up and show out. Next up, you got the Rams at the Bears.
Upset. St. Louis Rams beating the Chicago Bears.
It's an upset, but it's not a big upset. You're not going out on the big limb with that pick.
What was St. Louis' record last year?
But are they coached by the same bum? No. Look, I'm going to pick the Bears. I'm just going to pick the Bears just because I haven't seen enough from the Rams yet to really have faith in them. They should have lost Sunday past. But Cortland Finnegan did what Cortland Finnegan does. He gets under your skin. I'm not mad at him.
Okay.
That's just what he does.
And Brandon Marshall not going to throw a temper tantrum? You don't think Cortland's going to throw a blitz on the cornerback and hit Jay Cutler so he can get diva again and be like, why? You said it yourself. Offensive line don't like their quarterback. You don't think they're going to let him in? St. Louis Rams.
You forget who plays on that defense? I ain't talking about Urlacher. I'm talking about Briggs. I'm talking about Peanut Tillman. They come into play. Look, your boy from Bradford won't throw for 300 yards this week. You can book that one.
I agree with that.
Buffalo at
Jackson.
Cleveland.
Buffalo.
Wait. You didn't jumped off the fence.
I said last week. Y'all didn't see the show last week. I apologize. Technical difficulties. Last week I said I have digressed off the Fitzpatrick bandwagon. No. I don't like what I'm seeing. No. I'm going with Cleveland.
I'm going with Buffalo on the road. Your boy Brandon Wheaton did throw for 300 yards last week, but you're going to throw for a lot of yards when you're losing by 2 touchdowns consistently, so you're going to pass a lot. I'm taking Buffalo on the road. Tampa Bay at Dallas.
Tampa Bay went out there and nearly beat New York. You guys did lose. You got Eli. But that pass from Josh Spring to Mike Williams at the end of the game to tie it, that was beautiful. If y'all can come out like that every week, y'all going to be going places. I like Tampa Bay against Dallas.
I'm going with Dallas. I'm going to tell you why. Your boy Greg Schiano had that game last week if he had made one coaching adjustment, and he has it in his arsenal. When you're up 14 late in the game, stop trying to throw the ball. And I know they like this kid Williams, the running back. No. But you got this hammer in your backfield named LeGarrette Blount. Bring him out.
Oh, Martin, the new running back. Yeah.
They don't want to see LeGarrette Blount. I'm sorry, Doug Martin is his name. They don't want to see LeGarrette Blount. You don't want to see that in the fourth quarter. And then after you saw what DeMarco Murray did to Matthias Kiwanuka the week before, you bring out that LeGarrette Blount. You slow that game down and you hammer them, and then you take it away from them. No, y'all coming out trying to play regular, gave the Giants opportunities, and Eli was Eli. I mean, Cruz on 80 yards. Your defense ain't that great. They don't need to be on the field like that. I'm going to pick Dallas because for whatever reason, LeGarrette Blount has fell out of favor with Greg Schiano. So I think Dallas will take this one because they're home. Next up, Jets at Miami.
Jets. Miami's defense can't.
It ain't even Miami's defense. Rex Ryan is going to pull out stuff Tannehill hasn't dreamed of in his worst nightmare.
Welcome to the NFL.
I mean, Revis will be back. He even had a week off. And them blitzes going to be coming from everywhere. And here's the suggestion to Tannehill. Look out for LeBron Landry. That boy will come off that edge on the safety blitz and put you to sleep. You need to know where he's at all time. I'm taking the Jets. Frisco at Minnesota.
Frisco, Ponder, trying to step up as well last week. But San Francisco's going to win.
Frisco, I don't think it'll be close. Kansas City at New Orleans.
New Orleans. I've lost faith in Kansas City as well. I don't know what the heck's going on. Injury prone, the bionic plague. I don't know what's going on down there. There's a black cloud over the Kansas City right now.
If there's a black cloud over Kansas City, there's a black voodoo cloud over New Orleans because they ain't doing nothing either. It's the battle of the 0-2s. Look, I'm sorry. It's at New Orleans. I'll pick New Orleans, but I'm telling you this. Kansas City will score at least 4 touchdowns because that New Orleans defense is porous, and I'm being nice. Cincinnati at Washington.
At Washington, I'm going with Washington.
I like what I've seen from RG3, but don't sleep on the redhead. Andy Dalton is balling, and so I'm going.
I don't see the same cohesiveness as last year. It looks like they got film on them and they figuring it out. Yeah. Not saying they ain't balling.
Time out. I don't see the same cohesiveness as last year, but you know what I see? Growth. Because they're taking away A.J. Green, and he's making this kid Hawkins look like an all-star. And I remember, Hawkins coming from a TV show 3 years ago with Michael Irvin, trying to be a playmaker. He didn't even win the show. And Andy Dalton's making this kid look like a comeback player of the year. I'm going with Cincinnati. Detroit at Tennessee. Tennessee has showed me nothing. I'm going with Detroit. Jacksonville at Indy.
Andrew Luck, Indianapolis.
It's at Indy. I'm going to go with Luck. Philly at Arizona, the battle of the 2-0s.
Upset. I'm going Arizona.
You know, it's Kool-Aid drinking fool over here.
There's not no Kool-Aid. Look, I saw Cleveland Browns hold Michael Vick, and the way Arizona's defense has been playing.
No.
Hold on.
I'm not disrespecting Arizona when I say this, but understand, Arizona's defense is going to get after Michael Vick. And Shady's going to get his numbers, but he's going to have a long day. Here go the problem. Philly's front four is going to eat Kevin Kolb for lunch. That's just the facts. Philly's front four, what was it, second in the league last year in sacks? I mean, no. That wide nine, they get in that track stance and they get after it. Kevin Kolb hears his footsteps when he home. And look, it's just the facts. He's going to throw them a couple. Now, your shot is throw it up to Fitz. I don't know what's happened to Nnamdi Asomugha since he left Oakland, but he is not the same guy. I saw last week Baltimore's third wide receiver, Jacoby Jones, burning this dude, and all he could do was hold him. Something happened to Nnamdi. Nnamdi is not even in Revis's class anymore, so I say go after him. But with all that being said, Cole's going to throw 3 picks, and Arizona's going to walk away with that L. Next up, Atlanta at Diego.
I'm going with Atlanta with Julio Jones with 3 drop passes.
You had to get that in there.
I had to get it in there. He's gonna drop 3.
You know what? And I do this every year, and he lets me down every year. But the defense is looking solid. I'm going with Diego. I'm going.
Y'all didn't see last week's show. I went with Diego defense last week. He's like, they defense didn't show up and do nothing really. Look.
I'm going with Diego. Wait, what are you talking about? I played Diego's defense in fantasy and got 20-something points. I'm just saying. I'm going with Diego. Phillip Rivers ain't really blown me away. They still don't have a running game. But defensively at home, that team plays pretty well. Houston at Denver. If you thought Pittsburgh was a test for Peyton Manning, this Houston defense ain't no joke.
I'm going with Houston. Close game. Houston.
J.J. Watt, if you don't know him, you better learn. That boy is the truth. And look, I'm sorry. I love Peyton, but I think Houston on defense is going to be too physical. And as we saw last week, when you get a little physical with his tight end and his receivers, it throws their timing off completely, and it's all downhill from there. And I don't know if they're going to be committed to run the ball, because it's going to be hard to run against this Houston defense. So I'm going with Houston. Pittsburgh at Oakland.
Oakland is no longer even a team. I mean, we don't know what's going on there. I just don't know. And I look and I see and I hope, but there's no hope there. I'm going Pittsburgh.
Upset pick of the week.
Wow.
I don't know why.
Wow.
I don't know how. But when Pittsburgh goes to the black hole, stuff happens. Remember they went out there before and Bruce Gronkowski beat them? And look, stuff happens when Pittsburgh goes to the black hole. It's an afternoon game. I don't know how the Raiders going to do it. They're going to block a punt or something. I have a feeling Dennis Allen going to get his first win. Woo! Going with Oakland. New England at Baltimore.
They stay undefeated. The M&T Stadium, I'm going with Baltimore. They're at home.
Of course, you know I want to pick the Ravens as I sit here supporting my O's. Go O's. But I got to be real. I'm going with the Patriots. The problem is, realistically speaking, Brady struggles against the Ravens defense. But one, this is not that same Ravens defense. We miss Sizzle. 2, even in his struggles, we've beaten him one time since he's been a Patriot. And that being the playoff game in 09. We've beaten him one time. So with all that being said, no, yeah, I could argue that, the Mark Clayton dropped the 1 year and the bad calls on the Monday Night Football game in 07. But the facts are we beat him one time. And I don't see that changing this week. Brady finds a way. They're bringing back Deion Branch. And Kerry Williams, quite frankly, this season has regressed. Last year, he was a solid number 2 corner beside Ladarius. This year, I'm waiting for him to cut him. And Jimmy Smith has not impressed me. So, yeah. Monday night, we got Green Bay going out to the 12th man in Seattle.
Upset, Seattle.
I want to go Seattle. I do. Because Green Bay's offense has not been in sync all year.
You're not running the ball that you should, Cedric Benson. Let's see. You got injured wide receivers.
But I'm going with the Packers because Aaron Rodgers has a certain arrogance to him. And when people start throwing it in on him and saying he can't do stuff, that's when he shows up. And, Jamarcus Finley's agent came out and said he's not a leader and all this other stuff. That'll bring that locker room together. They'll go squeak one out in Seattle.
Or Cherry Park.
I'm saying 27-24 Packers. Next up, fantasy. All right, this is what I got for you this week. If you can get Andy Dalton, play Andy Dalton versus that Redskins defense, they're going to be confused and they're going to have no pass rush. And I told you about Hawkins. I look for A.J. Green and D'Angelo Hall to be a fun matchup, but I'm taking A.J. Green in that matchup. So Andy Dalton should have good numbers. Next up, Jets defense versus Tannehill. If the Dolphins score 14 points, that should be considered a win because I don't expect them to get 2 touchdowns. Next up, sit Adrian Peterson versus Frisco. Frisco don't allow you to run. They just don't. And Ponder is not going to beat their DBs. Their secondary is solid, so they're going to put 9 in the box. AP is not going to have a good day. Who you got?
You got for you. Stafford, Detroit Lions versus Tennessee defense. If you got Stafford in, play him. I know he's been struggling a little bit. Still, play them. Tennessee ain't showing up. Then, you don't think you can do anything against Dallas, but I sure do. Doug Martin, make sure you play up against Dallas defense. Dallas is falling apart. And then I got Reggie Bush. I got Jets to win, but Reggie Bush is going to have a great day. He's going to run all over that team.
That's all we got for you this week. Hope you enjoyed the show. Remember, hit us up on Twitter at BigDaddie6.
LB Jenkins at Lightbright J.
Have a good one.